Hi, my name is Stella Bosch. I'm presenting this as the part of the Humanitarian Crisis Simulation for the Masters of Science in Humanitarian Action at the Kroc School of Peace and Justice Studies, University of San Diego. This report reflects the voices we've heard, not just the systems we analyzed. It's part of a 10-day mission in Pays Fronterizo conducted during the MSHA 599 Humanitarian Crisis Simulation, where I was part of Team Green. What follows is a synthesis of the field-based insights grounded in dignity and built with care. This is Maria Herrera. Her voice echoes what many women feel in Distrito Novo. The shelters are crowded, there are no locks, no privacy, and rising fears of gender-based violence. Dignity begins with safety, and safety begins with listening. The crisis has displaced 400,000 people. Our field mission focused on migrant voices to understand their priorities firsthand. Maria's words are not just emotional, they're about daily safety and logistics. The physical environment itself has become a threat, and there's too few staff trained to respond to GVB. When food aid ignores culture, lacks choice, or spoils without cold storage, it becomes waste. Dignity means asking, not assuming, and designing meals that nourish both the body and the identity. Cash or voucher-based systems offer choice and reduce waste, especially when paired with basic cold storage infrastructure. Pedro reminds us that inclusion isn't charity, it's shared power. As an LGBTQI+ migrant, his story reveals how dignity and agency are often denied. To close the gaps, we recommend youth mentorship initiatives, community garden projects, bridging locals and migrants, migrant liaisons in planning and decision making. When migrants are invited to co-create solutions, they become agents of change. Inclusion fosters dignity, connection, and purpose. But when they're left out, participation drops, and so does the relevance of aid. Real impact starts with shared power. At Refugio de l'Amour, mistrust in healthcare systems collide with poor sanitation. Vaccine fears ran high, but the deeper crisis was structural. Without clean water or latrines, hidden traumas turned into public health outbreak. Rebuilding trust means more than treatment. It requires mobile health teams, culturally competent care, and clear messaging. Healthcare is a right, not a risk. The accumulated adversities risk snowballing into public health crisis. The recent outbreak makes this urgency impossible to ignore. Invisible trauma from anxiety in children to unspoken grief in elders too often goes unnoticed. Without safe spaces to express pain, these wounds deepen and can escalate into public health risk. The recent outbreak is a stark reminder. Mental health and sanitation are not separate concerns. Mobile care teams and culturally grounded dialogues can begin restoring trust and healing. The silence of trauma lives in the body. The following slides explore invisible wounds and what it takes for them to heal. Children are especially vulnerable, but they are not alone. Older adult, pregnant women, people with disabilities, and trafficking survivors also carry burdens, hidden burdens. Culturally sensitive mental health supports help people feel seen, safe, and smoothed. And we must uphold ourselves accountable. Kroc Corps must not replicate the same blind spots it came to assess. To reach children affected by trauma, we need creative approaches. Art therapy and structural listening session offer safe outlets for expression. Healing doesn't always begin with words. Henry reminds us that migrants want to contribute, but can't if they're not seen. Many face job discriminations, credential bias, and limited access to training. Practical inclusion means creating real pathways, not just offering sympathy. Transitioning out of aid takes more than good intentions. It requires structure and vision. When we invest in migrant capacity and local leadership, communities thrive. But when support creates dependency without a path to independence, it traps people in survival mode. In overcrowded shelters, small risks become deadly. In Distrito Novo, unsafe heating and cooking have already caused close calls. Without detectors or designated zones, fires and gas leaks are real threats. At the same time, many women and LGBTQI migrants must share latrines without light, locks, or privacy. Safety must be collected. Trusted adult volunteers, child safe zones, and migrant watch programs can protect each other from within. Resilience is powerful, but without structural recognition and civic inclusion, resilience, silence can be dangerous. When voices go unheard and dignity is denied, the risk isn't just marginalization, it's exposure to trafficking, gang recruitment, and escalating violence. This is not only a protection issue, it's a social one. Creating space for participation is a form of prevention. These three principles, acting with integrity, building with dignity, and co-creating futures of care, offer a path forward. They're not just values, they are the foundation for a different kind of humanitarian response, one that centers trust, contribution, and shared responsibility. Vidéo reminds us that when aid leaves without care, it leaves damage behind. Sustainable transition requires a clear handover, long-term investment, and shared documentation. Promises must be honored beyond presence. Patricia Joarez's testimony reveals more than mistrust. It reveals systematic failure. When community leaders feel they must hide people to protect them, something has broken. Ethical healthcare must be clear, consensual, and built on trust, or it risks driving fear even deeper. This brings us full circle. Centering dignity and humanitarian transition isn't just a framework, it's a call to action. Every voice we heard, every image we shared reminds us that sustainable response begins by listening, by seeing, and by including. As transition unfolds, let us move forward, not just with strategy, but with care. Thank you for your time and support.